welcome back to another May release video for Artful Angel. And I'm going to do a really sort of traditional card for me. And I rounded all the corners on just a standard A2. And then I grabbed some of this paper from Rabbit Hole Designs. And this is actually the pad I'm going to be using for the next Kendra's Card Challenge along with all the Space Cats. So and then I just cut another mat. So basically this is how it looks, and the rounded corners look very spaced to me, probably because of Star Trek The Next Generation in the 80s, but you know. So let me just get these panels together, and then we can move on to composing our card. Because I think I do want to I want to do a little ink blending, and then I may directly stamp a sentiment on. So it really doesn't matter which way this opens, of course, while we're putting the panels down. And we'll do that. This is Hammermill 100 copy cover, if anyone is interested. Ever since I started coloring, I'm always intrigued as to what paper people are using for what, so that is what I am doing today. And I could have ink and edged this, but I forgot about it. So I think what we can do is just sort of create a little bit of a scene with some of our marker colors. Just to sort of bring the purple in a little bit. So what color would be good? What I want is sort of a soft purple, which I don't have any out. So maybe something kind of like Red 11. Let's see. Yeah, that's perfect. So what I just want to do is do a bunch of horizontal lines, basically, like that, just sort of pulling in the background a little bit. And sort of like ink blending, I'm going to sort of leave the center open, and then I'm going to come back in a minute just to kind of break up that white. Because what we're basically going to have our cats are going to be like here, right? And I want to leave this center part open a little bit. I do want to bring in a little more purple on the side, I think. Just sort of do that. I want to probably go and find a gray to sort of blend that out a little bit. Maybe this green gray 01. I did swatch the purple here, so let's see how these wrong ends colors look together. A little dark. Let's put down another swatch for blending. We could just, of course, just use more ink too. I do kind of like how that warm gray looks, so I think I'm going to do another round of purple here, using the correct end. Not the correct end, but... And this is a really inefficient use of markers, though, so just FYI. Like, obviously, they go a lot farther if you're just coloring the ephemera, but just for a different technique. And as you build up the color, obviously, the white gets covered up, but you do get sort of this neat... You get a really neat look, in my opinion, so I think we're I want to make sure is like any edges. Whoops. Just do a background like that. Actually, I think I'll cover that up too. And since we have an oopsie, that would be a great place to cover it with a star, of course. I think I only have one of these left. Although I have a lot of love from Lizzie stars, so we could just use a couple of those around to sort of fix the oopsie. I'm going to grab the sort of randomly place these around. And if they overhang the side a little bit, that's fine too. There we go. Get rid of that one. Just there we go. Just cut that one off a little bit. So we just have a little more detail now. If you keep building up layers of the background, it will get rid of some of these white spots if that's a thing you don't like. So you could just, and this is our other color. It'll really create sort of a horizon look because of the horizontal strokes you're using, which is kind of a neat look. I mean, depending if you like that or not, I suppose. I think it's a neat other way you can do a background other than ink blending if you want a slightly different look, which I think is kind of neat, especially with the space stuff. Then we will that's about where we're going to have our cats, so just sort of in the center there, we just need to go and grab our Misty and decide what sentiment we want to use. I think we can clean it off a little bit because we have blue ink, and I think I'm going to go for black here because it's, I don't know, just always seems to be a little more classic. And the card opens this way, and we kind of want the sentiment here somewhere, so let's do the future is meow because that's just hilarious. There we go. I think that'll look good. We could actually, I think I can bring it down a little bit. Whoops. Maybe not. Sort of the risk you run when you're sort of using the Misty for a bunch of things at once. We'll just, there we go. you're not sure if you have this correctly positioned, what you can do is stamp it on something else, and that's correct. So good news. But I have a bad habit of stamping sentiments upside down. So someone also said that, I forget who tip this was, but you can also stamp on acetate and then wipe it off. Well, we could use our stamp tool. There's a thought. I like it. Then we just need to get our two cats added. That's about where I want one. I really like this cat that has the cloud or like space ring on his tail. I think that's just a really cool idea. Because hey, they're space cats. They could be whatever you want. I think that looks good. You could use whatever tool is your preference just to sort of make sure they're down. Especially things like tails and hands and whatnot that have a tendency to sort of come unglued. And then one thing that you can do to sort of really ground your characters is you can get any kind of gray you want and just sort of do a little bit of a shadow. See, just like that. And now they seem like they're more inhabiting the space. I actually kind of like that there. So let's do that. Do not need much glue. Sort of a purple and pink thing. I think that's pretty cute. So that is our third card that we were going to make today, but I will see you guys again here for more Kendra's card challenges coming up in the next couple of weeks.